Hello guys, this is Nick and this is Nick Show. Right here with Prisca. Prisca, summer bunnies. What does it mean by the summer bunnies?
Summer bunnies, it gets cold. It gets cold in December, so we like being in a warm environment. So that's why we come back to
Kenya. You come back to Kenya?
Yeah.
It's not like you're coming for holidays, you just come for...
to Indonesia the holiday, because it's very cold there. And we just come from summer, and then unaenda winter, and then now, instead of staying in America to have that cold weather, you just come to Kenya and continue that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know why they call it summer bunnies. You love it.
I also don't know, but summer bunnies. Huh? Okay, guys, this is Prisca, and Prisca is from USA. Are you from USA or you stay in USA?
I stay in USA. I'm a Kenyan.
You're a Kenyan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell us more about yourself, Prisca.
My name is Prisca Gemelli. I grew up here in Kenya. I was born and raised in Kenya. I went to school here, and after high school, I ended up in America. So I don't know if you need me to start from
the background.
The background.
Yes.
Okay. I was born in an area called Chebarus. It's in Mosbridge. I went to school in a school called Dabarnach, and so Dabarnach, I think it comes from a Maasai name or something like that. Yes. So Dabarnach. So I went to school there for 6 years. Okay. So let's say 7, because I was nursery, then I went to class 1 to class 6. Then after that, my mom moved to a place called Juakali. I think a lot of people know the place. Is Juakali on your way to I think it's Tarbo. Yeah, I went to school. My second school is Seyot for just 1 year. Then after that, I went to another school called Kaptinga, and that's where I graduated primary. I did my primary. I got 296 out of 500. So I got 296, but at the moment my mom had other things to do. My sisters were getting married, and they used the only car that I knew. They would use it for my high, to pay my high school, right? So I ended up not having like school fees and things like that. I started going back to school. I asked my mom to, what can I do? They were like, oh, so umefanya class 8, it's enough, you can stay home. The other ones needs to go, you are the one to stay home. So I was like, no, this is not right. So I went to another school called Mutuat. It's not far. It's in, we have Mutuat Simat in Kaptinga. It's the same village. I think it's a tri-city. So I went to that school, and it cost my siblings, they didn't get to go back to the same school, Kaptinga, because they were like, I was bright, and this school knew, Kaptinga knew that if I go to Mutuat, I would bring their marks yao itakuja juu. They were like, no, we need our kid to come back to our school so that, it can boost the school. So it cost my siblings their stay in school, so they sent them home.
Okay.
So my siblings ended up going to Simat, and that's where they finished their school. So I finished my school in Mutuat. That was 2006. I did my class 8, and I got 347. That was the second time. So when I got 347, again, there was nothing at home to for me to continue with my high school. So
what was it like now? Before when we go to high school, I understand you went through a lot of challenges when you were in primary, and going from school to school. What was it like? What was the challenges? What were the most challenging things that you went through?
So basically, my mom was a single mother. So being a single mother with 8 kids, we were 8. bringing up all these 8 kids were not easy for her. So we had to stay with our grandmother in Chebarus, and my grandmother was blind. So you can imagine all the time before we come for tukikuja ile lunch, we don't have food because our grandmother had to wait for us to washe moto, tuweke maji ya ugali, and then she would be the one to cook for us to eat, and then we go back to school. So imagine from class, when we start going back to school, ile narudi saa 8, class 4, 5 and 6, and you have to come back, do the, do all this stuff for my grandmother to cook so that you can eat and go back to school. I usually tell people, if I tell you something in Swahili and I don't say it right, because sikurudi saa 8, nilikuwa narudi saa 9.
Ulichelewa?
Nilikuwa nachelewa.
Au kwa attend lesson ya Kiswahili?
Ya Kiswahili, so nilikuwa nafika kama inaisha. So it wasn't something easy. So we had to walk from Chebarus to Ndabarnach. It's quite a distance. And so Ndabarnach caused me to run. So we had to run in the morning when we are going to school, run when you are coming for lunch, and run back when you are going back from lunch. And in the evening you have to run, because if you go, if you walk, you get home at 6 or 7, and we have to do other chores. You have to take care of the cows, you go to do milk or something like that, because our grandmother was blind. And my mom was not staying at home, she was doing house help jobs. So whenever she has off, that's when she comes and bring food for us and make sure that we have what we need. But it wasn't sometimes we had to go from house to house, ask for food and things like that. And at that time I didn't know we were poor. Unajua mnaishi kanyumba around hivi, and that's jikoni na ni nyumba kubwa, and it is everything, and all of you are in the house.
Yeah.
But
you don't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it we were poor. And we were going to different houses. The only thing that I thank God it didn't happen to us, we didn't steal. It didn't get to, but we could get to that point because sometimes we don't have food. We had to eat mchicha, just that as food.
No.
Hakuna ugali. Unajaza kwa mkebe, and then that's what you're eating. So we did that for a while with our grandmother. And my older siblings, when it was Chana, I think they decided, they were like, this life is not for us anymore. So they decided to get married. So they got married so early, when they were in class 6, class 7. The oldest alienda form 1. Then akaona akate akon. So the same thing would have happened to me. But when I finished class 8, my aim and target was to go to university. So I was like, this thing will not even cost me even a little bit. I would try all I could. I know I was a kid. At that time, I didn't know, unaenda kuuliza mama, mbona unilipi shule, why? And when I look back right now, she didn't have anything. She didn't.
You now understand.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was stressing out and asking my mom a lot of questions. I saw they don't love me or things like that. Why me? But when I look back, I'm like, oh, she tried. She really tried. But yeah, so we went to that school, we walked around, and we moved to Juakale. We moved to a family friend's house, and the house was grass touched. And it didn't have the, in the middle, when you touch the house, the middle of the house. I don't even, you're roofing, you can roof people. Hapo katikati sasa, it didn't have grass. So haikuwa na nyasi hapo. So it was open. Whenever it rains, inanyesha direct. And we were in the house. And we were there for almost 5 months. It wasn't it wasn't really easy for my siblings because I stayed in that friend's house and my siblings were in that grass touched house. So kind of a house help in that family so that they can give my mom milk. So and for me to go to school in Seya. So
now you were in high school now?
Not really.
Primary.
So the primary, we stopped there so that I can go back and explain the challenges. So when I was in Juakale, I was in class 6. I stayed in this family, and they gave us this housing. So it was, when I look back right now, it was like I was working for them so that they can give my family accommodation and milk, and but not food. So mom had to go to my Litisa. At that time, unajua hiyo shamba walikuwa wanapanda watu squatters. So my mom had applied for it, and we thought maybe even when we were moving the first time, we were moving to that place. So they said, oh, the squatters, and my mom was like, let me apply for it, because when my mom got married, she had some problems in the marriage. So they had to divorce in the Glenga, pet lawless. So they had to divorce, and in our Kalenjin culture, you cannot get married again.
Yeah.
At that time, they couldn't allow her to get married again, so she had to stay at home. So she brought us up as a single mother, with her mother, and they were born 3 of them. But my uncle was not that. He didn't do a lot, so he was just a simple guy, humble guy. He could not help us in any way. But my aunt didn't stay at home. I don't know where she was. Hata nikuja kumjua baadaye my mom had 3 siblings, so she didn't stay at home at all. Alimaliza Form 4. I think she got a C+ and something, and then she decided to do her own stuff. So we went to this house, we stayed for a while, and then we moved to another place called Kambikuku. I think people would know, in Malitisa, you go to Kambikuku and then you go to Juakale. Yeah. This Kambikuku, I think our president sold some chicken there. Yes. So, and we stayed in one house too, and it is a family friend too. I think the lady of that house is sister to our grandmother. So akatupea nyumba, we stayed in that house, and I was still going to Seyot because we stayed for just 1 year, and then we moved to Kaptinga. That's when I finished my primary, and then I went to Mutuat. I finished my primary again. But we had to move from house to house, staying with people.
Why was it
It was quite difficult, because I remember when we were in Juakale, we had to, this, unaenda kwa nyumba ya mtu, you ask for food, or they are our relatives. You go there, you ask for food, they give you a lot of work to do. Mnaenda kuvuna, mnafanya nini, and then at the end of the day wanawapea gorogoro moja ama mbili, ama wanapea ile mahindi, unaona ile unashika mahindi kubwa kubwa mbili na wamefunga hapo nyuma. You go just with that. Na umevuna the whole day.
Yeah.
So, but we didn't know that they were treating us different. But when I look back right now, I'm like, oh gosh, they didn't even care that. But they were in a position to help. But they say it's mysteries of the mind. You never know what people are thinking.
Yeah.
So we just leave it at that. And there was a time we had to just tukachuna mapera. And ni matunda tu ya kawaida ya nyumbani, mapera, sijui lakwas and stuff like that, and that's what we ate for a week. That was our food for a week. Our week. So until my mom was able to buy, ukinunua gorogoro moja mahindi, we had to cook a little bit ndo tugawe lisiisha haraka. So, but it was a journey. It was a journey, but we thank God, we survived it. We didn't get kwashoko and things like that, but we never know. So after that, that's when we moved. We came to Kaptinga. We had a home now. My mom bought a piece of land, and she built a house. We stayed in that house. I went to Mutuat and things like that, and
that is when life changed.
It changed a little bit for the better, because my mom now was with us. all the time.
Now, tell me about your mom, because you said she was working for someone.
My mom worked as a house help for different houses. The ones that I knew was the one in Koyo. It's in Nandi, Kaptumo area. So she worked there, one family called Chepsiror. And I remember we stayed in that house until my younger sibling was born, like the youngest. So I was nilikuwa nimepata ile fahamu, like I can tell, even if I go back there, I think naweza jua familia ilikuwa gani, because I stayed there for 8 years. When I was 8, that's when we moved to Chebarus. We moved back to Chebarus. And my mom was a single mother, so she worked in these houses, and with us, because we were younger, we could stay with her. But my older siblings, they were staying with our grandmother, so she could have to send food and, you know, things like that for them. And when walikuwa na shamba like eka 10, but I don't know why they were not even hawakufanya anything. But my mom could not afford it because akona watoto wote. And you remember that time walikuwa nalipa shule. Ile mafidia yenye walikuwa nalipa shule hizo sijui nini.
Now, how did it happen? Like now, all these challenges you're going through, and mom working for families, and then how did it happen? Or she was saving for the land, or how did she buy the land?
No, the piece of land was given by her family.
Oh, okay.
They had 10 acres. And because she came back from her marriage, they had to count her as the son.
Oh,
so akagawiwa shamba eka 2.
Okay.
So, you know, anasema magrore goe mara 2, right? So akasema huyu atakata ampatie shamba. So akapewa hiyo eka 2. After we had moved out, I think my mom was fed up with some things. I don't know what happened. But she had some issues with my uncle, with the wife and everything, and she had to move. So we moved. That's when we stayed in different houses, our relatives. Then she had to buy her own place. So when my grandmother was like, you need to come back, sell this piece of land, buy your own. That's when we got our home now. After we stayed out of our grandmother's house for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah. And then I remember there was another family she worked at. They were quite rich. They were able to like even help her in some way, but I don't know. They didn't. So we stayed in that house. I remember the lady. One time she had kids like my age. Unafanya ile hesabu jioni, and then you tell the son, one of the sons. I was like, oh, this sio hivyo, unajua ile ya kitoto. That's not how you do the hiyo hesabu. Unajua kenya ananiambia? Hey, mpaka siku hizi when I think back, I'm like, why did she say that? She said,
and you were trying to help.
Yes. She said, we toka enda kana mama yako jikoni. You know, you're just but a house help kid. You know, even if you get an A, you're not going anywhere. What she said.
What if, like, when you look back right now,
yes,
to people who let you down or who discouraged you in a way, how are they now compared to your status?
They're still in the same place. They didn't even move an inch. The son that I was trying to help didn't even finish high school. Like, and she told me, unaweza ji compare na mtu mwenye amesoma shule. At that time sikuwa najua hata Nairobi ni wapi. So alikuwa anasema mwenye amesoma shule Dandora phase 4. Nikasema kusha mimi. Yaani iko na uso 4. Yes, but you know, but that thing stayed in my heart because I was almost 10. I can remember very well. We had to wait for her to eat so that she can give us ile mabaki. If it doesn't, you know, kama watamaliza, and then we stay tutakula. Nani mama yangu ndiye amepika. Can you imagine? Like my mom is the one cooking, and we are the one.
You have to wait.
Yes.
For someone to eat first.
Then ile unajua ile sahani zenye zimetoboka hizo. They had to give us that. Unaweka ugali ndio supu isimwagike. Hiyo ndio tunatumia. Zile zenye baadaye walikuwa na umbo wengi. Wanatumia the same to feed the dogs. But like at that time I didn't see like
there was no problem.
Yes. But when I look back right now, they really belittle us, you know. Like why? But it's okay. I don't know. It's fine. I didn't know any, you know, at that time. Let's leave it like that. You know, and right now I'm like, neza rudi pale nimuulize shida ilikuwa nini?
But it's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea, you know, it's not. But
not
I don't know why
idea.
I don't know why people do that to people.
You know, sometimes people do things but they don't know what they're doing.
They don't know. Yeah.
But now you can learn it later that you did something which was not right.
Yeah, they didn't. Sometimes it's better to just treat your house help as your own family.
Yeah.
Because ni wenye wanakupikia. Imagine if a house help anaweza kukuwekea something hata kwa chakula. Because they know you are the one eating alone.
Yeah.
But they don't treat people. You have to treat people the same. It doesn't matter because everybody has their own value in your life. You know. But it's fine. Then when I finished high school, that's when I went to a school called it's in Ziwa High. I went there for 1 year.
That is after high school.
After primary.
After primary.
Yes, when I got 347. When I got to this school, it's in Ziwa. They waived my school fees. It was 11,000. They waived 8,000, and they told me to pay just 3,000 because, like my math, max yangu with 347 na shule ni ile ninachukua 240, 250. Akona ai huyu acha tumwevie ndiye akae. So they waived my school fees and nikaenda pale nikasoma for 1 year. That 1 year, I had, you know, our schoolmates wakaenda Shimba Hills, Mombasa. So when they went to Shimba Hills, Mombasa, they remembered me because I was good in athletics. Nilikuwa nakimbia vizuri, nacheza soccer and volleyball a little bit, not very well. But I was, you know, I was all round. You know, co-curricular niko sawa, and in class I'm good too. So when they closed school in December, wakakuja mpaka nyumbani. They were telling me, you know, we have this school and it's giving scholarship. Why not? Why not join us so that we can go to school together? And it's a very good school. So I told my mom. She refused. She was like, "Unajua Mombasa, kuna majini." Kuna majini. Kuna majini. So. You know, my mom we had to convince her the whole of December. Unajua ile yenye unaamka asubuhi unamuuliza. Yes, every day. Mpaka akasema, wacha nikununulie box uende. Haya, wale vijana wenye walikuja, they said, no, you don't have to do anything. Akuje tu na uniform yake hivyo twende. Hivyo tu. Yeah, when I got to school, they gave me uniform and everything. Nikakaa in that school for Nikaka 2007, 208, and 209. So
that is Form 2, Form 3, Form 4.
Not Form 2, Form 3. Not 2 years, only 2 years. Form 3 and Form 2 and Form 3. So in Shimba Hills we had this soccer. I was very good in it. Mpaka tulicheza ile Coca-Cola. I don't know if you remember. It was 2008 ile Coca-Cola walifanya the whole Kenya.
The tournament.
Yeah, hiyo tournament. Tulifanya hiyo mpaka tukawin. I think we won how much? I think it was $500,000 or something. So every time we had a tournament, I could get like 200 shillings or 300 every weekend. So mimi nilikuwa na pesa all the time. Because imagine every weekend kitambo wafunga shule. You have some money. Unaenda mashimo la tewa hizo, you know, tunazunguka all the coast. Yeah. Naenda Malindi, and then they gave us some money ile ya chakula. Na wamewalisha tayari, nasema okay. It's stipends. So I kept it. Then in Form 3, that's when I knew a man in Form 3. So that's when I gave birth to my daughter.
Wow.
In 2009. So I got pregnant in 2009. That was another problem. Unajua unaongeza maji kwa unajua inateleza. Yes. nilikuwa nimetoka kwa shida, sasa najirudisha kwa shida. So now I have a kid. I need to go back to school. My mom is my mom. She doesn't have anything. So that was another problem. So my mom asked me, unataka kufanya nini? Now you are pregnant, you have a kid. You will have a kid in January. That was 2010. So abortion came into my mind. I was like, should I do it? And then I was like, no. What if I die? What if I die? I said, no, I'm not going to die. I will keep this child, and this is a blessing to me. But I will have to go back to school. So I begged my mom. I was like, allow me to give birth to this kid, take care of her for a year, then I'll go back to school. And that's all I did. I stayed with my grandmother in Nandi. It's I think it's Lemoko or somewhere. We stayed there.
That is 209.
Yes, 209. I stayed with her for maybe 2 months. She didn't like me. She was like, I will just, when you get pregnant at that age, they'll be like, oh, sasa utapoteza watoto wangu, because her kids were almost my age. Utawafundisha tabia mbaya. So I had to move. Nikaenda nikakaa na my sister in a place Twigain. It's somewhere towards Kitale or somewhere up here after Ziwa. I stayed with my sister until when I was 8 months old, pregnant. I had not gone for a clinic. Sikuwa nimeenda clinic hiyo.
Umepaki na one
month kupata mtoto. So imagine, and my boyfriend at that time, the father of my kid didn't have money. So ni watoto tumekutana na tumepata mtoto. So he didn't have any way to help me in any way. But he tried his best. I remember I went for clinic when he did send me like 500 shillings. Nikaenda clinic, and ile yenye unafika clinic unagombanishwa na manases. Nasema yani hata mama ako na mimi hata sijui kenye nafanya. Ni mtoto. Even though I was staying with my sister, she didn't teach me. She didn't teach me that when you're pregnant, these are the things you need to do. So I was just innocent in everything. I don't know. I'm carrying a baby, but I don't know what to do. But and I worked with her. Tulienda kuvuna, unabeba mahindi kwa mgongo and all that. And I'm pregnant. But she didn't give me the money back. Hakunipea pesa yoyote. Unajua ile unalipwa, alafu yeye anasema, acha niende niweke kwa group. And then when it's my time, I will tutagawa katikati. Hapo anipatia. So
you're pregnant.
Yeah, I need that money to buy a towel too. Ile ya kushikia mtoto by. Yeah. So but she didn't. When it was time that I was almost due in December, that's tukakuja nyumbani. So we were in Katinga, right? That was our home. In the course of 2009, my mom moved back to Ziwa. She said, they had a problem with the piece of land, so they had to sell it so that she can go back to Ziwa. So ile kwenda Ziwa wakanunua shamba ingine, then they had to build and everything. So I had to go back to Ziwa, stay with my mom, give back there. And I don't know what happened again in 2010. That's why my daughter is called Cheptum. My sister was getting married on the same day.
The same day
that I was giving birth, and they did the pre-wedding in like this is Kurumosho. It's not far from here, so it's far from Ziwa. So everybody came for and I was left alone, and a pregnant lady, almost due. And that night, that's when I gave birth to my daughter. So the majirani,
you weren't alone?
Majirani ndo alinisaidia.
Oh my God.
When my mom came, she was surprised I have a kid. I'm totally tired. So, and this majirani walikuja, and all of them came to that. But in the evenings wanarudi nyumbani. Ile kurudi nikaambia sasa So I felt that, you know, something is wrong. I told one of them, akaniambia, oh, you are due, it's today. So akasema acha niende nipike nimalize ndio akuja. Akakuja sasa in the evening wakaniletea sasa matowel. I didn't have any, so they bring their own. They brought their own. Nikapata mtoto wakamfunga wakampatia, and so then so I gave birth in January 2010. Then I stayed the whole of 2010. 2011 I went back to school. Yeah. So in the course of that time I had nililima shamba ile ya kulima na mikono, nikapanda mboga so that I can have ile ya sabuni, you know, ya mtoto. Yeah, sabuni, mango ndogo ndogo yenye inahitajika. So sikupata shida kubwa sana because I had this. And you know, ile yenye wanasema unaamuka mapema. You know, I had to start this when I was just 1 month old after giving birth.
So you need to work hard.
And
That's the key.
So, but sikukosa sabuni though, because nikalima kidogo hapo. Every day somebody buys 20 shillings, mpaka saa zingine napata 100. So, sikupata shida sana.
Now that Prisca, you know, there's some people who went through or who are going through the same situation, and you find like people tend to lose hope. People tend to like, I'm not going back to school because of the kid, and also what people can think outside. There, like, how was it for you? Why?
There's that stigma.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stigma in the village, like watu wanakuangalia in a different way, especially when you get pregnant in school, like high school. People look at you differently. When you walikuwa marafiki zako, no, they're not your friends anymore. Nobody wants to associate with you. After you give birth, you are wewe si kijana na wewe si mama. So yani huwezi shikana na anybody. So if you will really put it in your mind, you will be really depressed because unajipata you are alone most of the time. You're just alone. Unajifanya tu vitu vyako mwenyewe, because if you put it in your head, watu hawakutaki. The society just treats you very differently. Like even when I was almost due, my sisters, my own sisters, they were like, oh, why don't this guy just come, wakuje ile show up and everything before I give birth? Because for them, giving birth at home, like outside wedlock, is not right. It's not right, you know, it's not right generally, but at the same time, you cannot force somebody to just get married to you, you know. So there's that stigma. Until now, it's not something that...
Yeah, I understand. I understand. What can you tell these people who are going through the same thing?
You just don't give up. Don't allow anybody. If you know your target, if you know your goals and you've set your goal and you set it right, it will not sway you. So this stigma and the whole world looking at you differently, it will not even sway you in any way, because you know where you're going and you know what you want. If you know where you're going and you have that goal, nothing will stop you from, you know, focusing on it. Because I knew education is the only key so that I can get out of this poverty. Because our family was very poor. So if I stayed and get married like my siblings, tungekuwa wote kwa manyumba size.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Now you went back to school.
Yeah, I went back to school.
How was the reception? Now that people knew your status.
In my school, I went to Hill School. Hill School, Eldoret here is like people didn't know that I had a kid.
Oh, okay. It was an advantage.
It was an advantage. After some time, when I was almost done, that's when, you know, ile rumor inaanza kukuja ati hata ako na mtoto, but I just blended in. Sasa venye nilikuja sikuenda ati so I'm different from them. No, I just blended in, nikakuwa mtoto kama kwa watoto wengine in school. So kama ni kucheza, we are playing together, but nilikuwa nimeficha simu. Ndio shule hakubalinge simu. So I had to feature, and in the evening I have to call my mom and talk with my daughter. Every evening I had to talk with her. Those, unajua mtoto wa 1 year ni ile anaanza kujifunza kuongea. So I had to talk with her at least ndio anijue And you know, ile bond ya mama na mtoto, because I really bonded with my daughter. I didn't, you 1 year nilikaa naye kabisa, si ati nilimwacha mahali. I was with her all the time. So hiyo kurudi shule was really difficult. Ile kuacha mtoto, you have stress. Now you know you are a mother, you have a man in your life, and maybe this man is not doing things right. Then ile stress ya shule tena. And then home they wanakuuliza ya mtoto maziwa, and you're a student.
No. I don't know if you'll be okay with it. Can you talk about was he responsible or what was happening?
At the beginning, he was at the beginning. Even his mother was the one who took me to school. He was the one that took me, akaniombea shule, nikaenda shule. But it reached a point when I graduated, that's when, I don't want to put it in a bad way, but the mother was like they've done their part. So it's not like I have to get married to their son, because they were not like poor people. They were, you know, strong financially. So they were like, we've done our part. You can now leave. So, you know, somebody tells you that, you are like, okay, I thought I'm staying in this house. I thought this is
now, where were you? You had moved to the house or to these people's house? Or?
Yeah, like most of the time nilikuwa natoka shule naenda nyumbani, because their home is in Kaptinga. Yeah, that's where a lot of people knew like I could call her my ex-mother-in-law. They knew her as my mother in school.
In school?
In school. They knew her as my mother. Even my boyfriend and their brother, they knew them as my brothers. They didn't know their brother-in-law. But it wasn't like official. It wasn't official that I'm now married. But ile come stay or something. So, but we after I gave birth, we didn't have like really good no communication. Sometimes I could hear akona mwingine mahali. But yeah, it was just ups and downs. But we ended up breaking up. We broke up in 2012. That's when I thought about.
That's when the mother-in-law said,
yes,
you can now leave. That is when you realized you were on your own.
I'm on my own. So I had to like move, you know, Nika.
So now, how was life? There is no support.
Totally, the only person that really supported me was my mom. Because nikatoka hapo, because 2012 when I graduated high school. My boyfriend told me, you need to go home, like go with your kid, and you know, go with our kid. At that time he was like, oh, you need to stay home so that we can tutatuma wase nyumbani. So they were like, I think he was thinking of marriage or something. But I stayed there for 1 month. Nikakuja nikafanya computer classes. I mean, you know, Alphax. Yes, I did it for I could figure 1 month because I paid for it. I had to come every day nifanye your computer classes, but it brought a lot of issues. They were like, oh, she's not going to class, she's going out and stuff, she's doing, you know, they brought it in such a manner that they looked at me differently. They are like, oh, she's not, yani, ana ile msimamo huyu atoshi kijana wetu. So they saw me like, now I have a kid, I can have another boyfriend or something. So they created something that made my boyfriend change his mind. So when he changed his mind and he wasn't even calling me, wasn't doing stuff that I needed for my daughter and things like that, I was like, this is not what I signed up for. And I remember one day he told me, najua hiyo mtihani ikitoka utakuwa umepita, and I don't want you to go to college. I said, why? Because like the purpose of me going back to high school was for me to go to college. You know, if you're going to college, I have to take you in the morning na nikurudishe jioni. So
why was it so?
I don't know why you say that. But anyway, it didn't even work. When the results came, I wasn't in that house because si tulifunga shule mwezi wa 11 hiyo tumaliza mtihani, nikakaa hapo mpaka I think it was 23rd of December. That's when the mother-in-law was like, you can leave, you know, and she was really firm about it. She was like, stand up about it. She told me to my face, yeah, you need to leave.
Yeah, you had no option.
I had no option. I had no option, so I had to leave. So
now, after Alpha's, what happened? You didn't...
I didn't finish Alpha's. I went back home. I went back home, that was 23rd. I left my daughter on with my mom. 24th, nikatoka. There was a family friend that I knew through my boyfriend. Walikuwa wameenda inaitwaje, Lodwa. They were in Lodwa. So on 24th I called them. They were like, you can come to our place. 24th I went to Lodwa.
You went, okay.
And so I went to Lodwa. I stayed with them until I think it was January 15th or something like that. So nilikaa na wao. I was working, walikuwa na hoteli, so tulikuwa na kama receptionist, what do you call this? Waiter. Waiter. Yeah, kulisha watu. So I stayed with our tukakaa na wao for 1 month. And then when I was in school, we had a motivational speaker, and this motivational speaker talked about getting a C+ and above, and if you are an athlete, you can apply for scholarship abroad. So I was like, so when I was in Turkana, it came into my mind. I was like, I really need to pursue that. I think I can get this because I have B+. Yes. So why don't I even try that? So so when I was in school, I kept a journal. So I usually write my stuff down, and I've learned that everything, even until now, I still write my things down. I write what I need to do during the day, and when the day ends, I write what I did the whole day. If I did all of it, I just marked it out. If I didn't, I put it for the first thing that I will do tomorrow morning. Yes. So I usually just write stuff down. So when this motivational speaker came, I wrote their number and everything. So when it came to my mind, I looked for that journal. So then I called them, and they directed me to a camp here in Kaptagat. It was called Chepkero. So when he directed me, that was in 2012, then the beginning of the year 2013, I was like, if I stay here, and he gave me like what is needed. Almost everything that was needed was 200,000. That was the amount that was needed for me to like really get to go. So I stayed in this hotel. I tried to calculate how many months I will stay in this hotel so I can get 200,000. It was like almost 5 years. So I was like, I will not stay here. So I need something that will give me money really quick. And the brother to my boyfriend was able. So I called him. I was like, I'm thinking of a scholarship. Is there a way you can help me? He was like, tell your boyfriend.
Not me.
You're bringing another responsibility to me. So, and that was really another really obstacle. Because when I tried to like ile kuomba, ukitaka kuomba mwanzo, because they had known me with this family. Well, I would try to ask somebody else and be like, I need help with this.
You will associate yourself.
Yes, they will be like, really? Like your brother-in-law would just give you the 200,000. That's nothing to him. So
it became another problem.
Yeah, it became a problem. Yani nilikuwa nikiomba, yani inkenlenje nijita kitonge. So I had to just nikajaribu arambe haikushika. That's when I came back, nikakaa mahali inaitwa Marura with just a friend of ours. I stayed in that house. The lady was not staying in the house. Alikuwa Kitale. So akaniambia, you can stay in my house. you can stay in my house, do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed in her house, and then I was coming to town most of the time to like look for job. I was going from one office to another. Yani ile unajua ukitoka
yeah.
ukitoka shule na ile like I was tiny. Unajua ile unaomba shule wanakuambia wewe mtoto toka hapa. Wewe mtoto toka hapa, unakuja ati unaomba nini? Ati kazi. Haya. One day nikakutana wengine hapo, they had I don't know if they are still doing it. Unaona hii KTS, it's not KTS. Tuskies. Unaona Tuskies hii yenye iko karibu sokoni huko le. Kuna Tuskies yenye iko hapo.
Si Tuskies tena
imebadilishwa. Yeah, they had that Tuskies there. And they had a billboard yenye walikuwa wanaweka kama mtu amepoteza something wanaweka hapo ndani. If they advertising nini. Yeah. So every day nilikuwa naenda kusoma. Every day naenda kuona kama there's somebody advertising something. So one day nikapata yenye wana advertise kuuza visu. So nikaenda. So walikuwa wamepeana time na kila kitu kuona it's this time nikaenda. I think it was Moya House where we went. Tukaenda kwa building hivi, wakatuongelesha venye unafanya venye yani the way you can sell, you convince somebody to buy something. Nikabeba visu. Unaona ile visu kubwa hizo. Kabeba kwa mgongo, you leave 200 shillings, wamekupea visu ya 200. When you sell everything, they give you your 200 and your money like maybe in your utapewa ya hiyo siku. So I left my 200, nikaenda nikauza visu. Mimi sikuuza anything. I think niliuza kisu moja, alafu nikasahau kisu kingine huko. So na hiyo kisu ilikuwa 50 shillings. So
nimerudishiwa 150.
Nikishiwa 150. Nikasema hii haiwezi fika. Nimeenda hasara. So hasa ile kurudishiwa 150 haiko make sense. Nikafanya just for one day. No, 2 days I think. Nikaenda mpaka Langas. Ili kutembea toka miguu na visu. Unaona ile visu ile visu kubwa hizo zenye inakaa pana hivi. They are very heavy. Unaweka kwa mgongo unatembea. Nikaona hiyo haishike. Nikarudi kuangalia kwa hiyo billboard. Nikapata ingine ya house help. Hiyo house help walikuwa wanalipa 2500. Nikaenda nikakaa.
Per month?
Yeah, 2500 per month.
And you're looking for 200,000?
Yes, 200,000. That's what it's in my mind. I'm looking for 200,000. So I went stayed with that lady. She was really good. Akaniambia ukikaa for 1 month itakuwa 2,500. After 1 month, that's when we can raise the amount if you are good. You know, they are going to they're going to evaluate me and see if I'm going to make it or not. So nikachunga ule mtoto for one month. Yeah, huyo mama alinipenda sana akasema you know we will raise the money to 30,000. Mimi nikafanya 30,000. Nikafanya 200,000 divided by 30,000. I make sense. Mimi nataka kwenda university by next year. You're telling me 3,000. 3,000 in 10 months, that is 30,000. It's not even half of what I want for 1 year. And I have a kid at home. I have to send some money home. My mom will be calling me, you know, akona sabuni, akona nini. And so we were in Ziwa, right? We had to move again to another place called Chepkoman. It's not far from Cheptiret, on your way to Nairobi. So we stayed in that place, and at this time 2012 2013 my mom was not able to do stuff, so alikuwa ameanza kuwa mgonjwa ile hawezi enda kibarua ama nini, so we were the one to provide. So and I was the only one mwenye anaweza provide. Wale siblings wangu walikuwa changa, and my 2 brothers, mmoja alikuwa high school, mwingine alikuwa primary, akaenda kukaa na my our grandmother mwenye nilikaa naye for 2 months. So akaenda huko akakaa, my other 2 akabaki na mama, and I had to provide for them. So anyway, so in 2,500, when you really see what I will keep is like 200. The rest will will go home. And I need 200,000. I said this one will not make. Nikarudi kwa ile billboard. Nikaenda nikaangalia billboard nikapata ya Airtel. You know, hiyo sasa wakasema wana advertise on, you know, you need to bring your ID, and we went for interview. They asked me questions kwa sababu nilikuwa nimeuza visu. I was very good in, you know, ile convince mtu anunue. Hey, huyo mwenye alikuwa ananini akanipenda sana, akaniambia sasa you need to start work today. Hiyo kuniambia you need to start work today, that was like a prayer come true. So he gave me the 10 of them. And he told me unauza, it had like credit at 70, and you're selling it at 50, but it has a credit of 70. So hiyo kuuzia watu ilikuwa rahisi sana, because when you go to somebody be like, I'm selling you know, I'm
but you have 70 already.
Yeah, you have 70 already.
You're losing nothing.
You're losing nothing. I'm just giving you for free. And then kampuni, they were taking 20 shillings, 30 ni yangu. So I was targeting to sell 300 per day. And like ni sell 10 of them so that I can get 300 per day. So I worked on it, and ikafika mahali, so I was given a stack. Yani every day napewa 20 ama ngapi. So I was getting really good at it. Ile nye unauza moja, una convince mtu ananunua moja, mwingine ananunua hata mpaka 4. Kwa sababu anatumia anatupa. You remember that time you could not even register with anything, right? So I'm the agent of Airtel, I'm selling this. I was very good at it, you know. Watu wakaanza kununua. Then I did that.
Uliko ununua credit ya 50, ununua line ya 70.
Yeah, na unaweza tumia sasa hivi. Una convince mtu pelekea hata mpaka mke wako na watoto, mtu anabeba. So I did that until the time I was flying. Nilifanya hiyo kabisa for 2 years.
So you raised your 200,000?
Not really. Not really, because I was selling this, and then silikuwa na kama Arura. I had to feed myself. I had to send money home. And the only thing I did with the money is buy shoes ya kuanza kukimbia. Nikienda West nikatafuta tights, zile za kukimbia, jacket, nini, vitu kama hizo. But I was buying shoes zile ndogo ndogo. Sasa ilikuwa inatoa makucha zile za miguu zote. Sababu unajua zile za 300 ndio, yeah, 250. Excuse me. So I had to like use that money to buy that. And then nikaenda kambi sasa. Nikaenda Chepkiro, nikaomba, you know, I talked with the coach, akanielewa. So nikaenda nyumbani nikatafuta mahindi. Unajua they need all the stuff. Unataka mahindi, unahitaji ya kambi, unahitaji, you know, the things that you will use, the necessities. The only thing I had to buy is a blanket, because they had a mattress na kitanda. Na nimenunua. So at the same time, even though I'm selling Airtel, but I need money ya haraka, because I need to do SAT. Because SAT, unajua ni
it's a requirement.
Yeah, it was a requirement. So I have to do SAT. I need to clear NCAA. That's another money. And I need to clear NEC so that they can send my results in the NCAA. So like I needed money, like nikarudi tena Kaptinga to like people wenye wanajuana na Sudi, and nikawaongelesha, nikamwambia, you know, I need to see our MP. So then they organized one time, nikakutana na MP. Kukutana na MP lenye nilimsalimia kabisa wa MP, nikamuuliza na nikamuomba, you know, I really need help. Kaniambia, what kind of help can I run to you? Nikamwambia, I need money. I need 200,000. That will be enough for me for everything until I go to school. And he said, is that all you need? I say, yes. Then organize an Arambe. I'll be in the Arambe. Just put me as Mugeno Aishima. And then he said, I'll give you 20,000 right now. Okay? And then, you know, you like shake hand, you're leaving. Somebody else is coming, you know, you are alone. I tried to like explain it to him, like, you know, this thing is, I didn't have time. Because like the thing is telling me to do, you can organize for fundraising, but nobody will come. Yeah. Because you know, I don't know what society really. sema pesa inaenda penye pesa iko.
Yeah.
But when you don't have money,
people won't.
No. Unakutana na watoto wamejaa harambee.
Wakunywe chai.
Wakunywe chai imeisha. So he gave me 25,000, but I was told to come the following day so that they had to like organize so that they can give me the money. So when I went back to the office, they gave me 20, not 25. They gave me 20. They say 5,000 imeenda na committee. So the committee had to eat their portion. They gave me 20. But I'm really grateful for our MP, Mr. Sudi. He really helped me. He boosted me because the money when I got it, I paid for SAT and I cleared NCAA. So at least
you're somewhere.
Yes, nimefanyaka ka step. Then ile ya Airtel nikaanza kulipa sasa because I think it's 3,500 to clear NEC or something like that. So I paid for it. Then wakatuma my information. Nikafanya SAT. That was in, I think it was August of 2013. I did the SAT and I started training. When I was doing the training, I have my sibling mwenye alikuwa high school, inatakana nimlipie shule. Mimi si nimemaliza shule.
You're now a parent.
So I need to pay for him. So alikuwa anasoma Kipkenyo. So I had to walk from Kaptagat. You know where Kaptagat is? It's quite a distance.
Yeah,
when I took Kaptagat, I had to run in the morning run. Natembea na backpack. Yeah. Nikifika town, nakuja kuchange. Then I walk to his school, pay 1,000 because I didn't have, sometimes 1,000, hata saa zingine ni 200, ile ndio asifukuzwe. And I talked with the school, nikamwambia, even if you send him home,
there is nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing. Atarudi tu na ile transport ya kuenda na kurudi tena. I don't have the money. Yeah. So lakini they really they really understood because nililipa hiyo kidogo nilikuja kumaliza baadaye after nimeenda US. So but nililipa kidogo 1,000 saa zingine 500 and I had to work from Kaptagat. Even when I was applying schools because I didn't have like a good phone and we didn't have a cyber in Kaptagat. Nilikuwa nakuja Tamarin Plaza kwenda ku apply. Na unajua sasa si nilikuwa nimejaribu kufanya computer. Yeah. There was a time I stayed in that cyber nikatumia 1,000. So unajua alikuwa analipa na hours.
Yes.
Yeah. So ile kutype unatafuta p penye iko. So applying school was so difficult. Una apply shule leo, unaandika story yako yote. I didn't know you don't need to tell the school like I'm the 5th born of 8 kids. Tunatembea kwa miguu. Unaviona shida yote. So then I was sending to school, they'll be like, oh, we really pity you, like the shule inaanza, but that's, you cannot afford our school. Nimepeana mashida zangu sasa shule wanaona huyu hata akikuja kwa shule atatupea shida tu. But it reached a point somebody aka create email, like a very good email, and nilikuwa na copy and paste. So when he created the email, that was my coach. He created the email for me, like what I need to say, the important stuff that I need, like where I went to school, what I got, and my times in athletics, like then send it to the coach. So that the coach will be like, okay, I will take you, then start applying the school. So I will send it to different coaches. I was applying almost 100 schools in a day. That's 100 schools in a day. So in this process, because I really needed a lot of money, and I had to like do morning runs and all that, ikafika mahali ile kuuza Airtel tena imeanza kuwa kidogo. Haitoshi, pesa yenyewe haitoshi. Nikafanya mjengo. Nika-apply mjengo. There was a hotel that was being built. It's called Pine Tree. Pine Tree Hotel. I went to that hotel, nikafanya mjengo for almost 2 months. Hiyo ikakuwa ngumu. Sasa najua kufanya Saa zingine the same contractor alikuwa na hizi, saa zingine mnaenda different buildings usiku, saa yenye wamefunga, unaweza kupaka rangi. Sababu kupaka rangi usiku saa zingine ndio, that's how they do the renovations here, I think. We did that. Usiku unakuja, saa zingine nilikuwa nafika kambi saa 7 usiku. Well, you know, like when I look back right now, that was really dangerous. But I did it. You know, I did it. Yeah, and they were paying me 300 per day. Nikafanya hiyo. Yeah, it boosted me. It boosted me, and it helped me.
And now that you were doing applications. So after some time, I got a school. I got a school in Tennessee, called Tennessee Tech. I got like almost 3 of them, but the one that sent me, that was serious about me, was Tennessee Tech. I applied. My coach was like, apply the school, and I applied the school. They sent me information. Like as soon as I finished, like I had known the time this coach was awake. So at 3 in the evening, that's when I took my email. As soon as I send it, he sends me back. I send it, he sends me back. So I did almost the application in 2 days. I was done with everything. Then he sent me the I-20. Now the challenge came in. So I got the I-20. Okay, before we go that, we go to I-20. I think we should take a small break.
Okay.
Yeah. Now ukapata shule. Yeah.
So yeah, I got a school. So ile kuapply kupata nimefanya SAT, nimepewa I-20. Sasa ni kwenda shule. Sasa kupewa ile I-20, I had to go home, tell my mom that I have an I-20. Telling my mom nimepata I-20, anasema hiyo ni kitu gani? Atapata I-20, unaenda wapi? So I came to, you know, you remember there was a family that my mom worked at in Koyo, Pandanande. So the family had some kids when walikuwa wameenda sijui Amsterdam, they were just abroad. So my mom went there to ask, can my kid also go? Amepata kitu yenye inaitwa I-20. That family was like, no, that I-20 hiyo ni scam. Mama karudi kama yani amekataa hiyo story. Umedanganya. Mtoto wangu ataenda kupotea America. So she came home, she was like, no, you're not going anywhere. She had to like inquire, ask different people until she had to ask one of the athletes, Ben Limo. Is I think he ran Helsinki in 2008. He was an athlete. So she went there, she asked them, and the family was like, okay, the I-20 is genuine. We should do something about it. This kid has gotten a genuine school, and I really think Ben Limo, because if it wasn't because of him, my family was against it. So when he said it's genuine, and if you don't have any money, I'm willing to be the mgeni wa heshima. Mimi mtengeneze arambe, nitakuja. And he kept his promise. He made sure, like we did the first arambe, ile ya kwenda embassy, wakachanga wazee, wakachanga kwa nyumba. I got the, what is it, 40 or 20 something thousand that you need for the embassy. Wazee wakachanga, wakasema siku ya arambe watarudisha. Nikalipa embassy, nikaenda embassy, it was on 18, not 14, and arambe ilikuwa 18. So nilienda before. Kwenda hiyo 14 nikapewa visa. Immediately. So I got the visa. Then I had to come home. The arambe was on the 18. They did the arambe. Unajua Kenya tulipata 20,000. It's not even the amount that was paid ya embassy. So we got 20,000. Unabaki bure. So So tumefanya harambe, niko na visa, but I don't have money ya ticket. So they organized another harambe ya ilikuwa tarehe 7 January. So we did another harambe in January. And the amount yenye tulichanga tena ikakuja 40. So 40, there was something that they had done, I think your preparation na nini. So the money had to go. The only amount that was left with me was 15K. Yani ile pesa yote ilikuwa madeni. So wamechanga
kununua masiwa ya Emma.
Yeah, kweli mikate ile ya kukulia chai. Ikaenda hivyo. So one of the guests alikuwa with the relationship, in some way alikuwa anajua Governor Mandago. So he talked with him and the governor was like, no, don't worry about it, you're doing a fundraising today. And yeah, he said, yeah, we're doing the fundraising, you're not here, why? And this guy was like, as if the governor knew that I had a fundraising. So, and the governor was like, I already know, like that lady should come tomorrow morning and I will give her the ticket. You don't have, if you got something from the harambe, just give it to her as pocket money. So they're talking as if they know me, but they don't. So the following morning,
what time ya siasa or something?
Not really. I got time ya siasa 2015. So siasa ilikuwa imepita. So sasa hiyo kwenda in the morning with my MCA. Tukaenda na yeye akasema, okay, we were the one that called you last night because ilikuwa jioni. Last night about somebody mwenye anaenda US. Akasema, oh, kuja na mtoto ndani. Mimi kuingia ndani. Governor akasema, it's not this kid. Mimi najua mwingine.
Si huyo.
Si huyo, simjui umemtoa wapi? Ati walikuwa na harambe wapi? So they had another harambe around my place. So when they talked about Chepkomon, it's just the same area but a little bit of a distance.
A different person.
A different person. So they did the fundraising, but it was the governor knew that lady but not me. But we were in the same camp though. So when they told him about me and about the lady, everything was rhyming. We was in the same camp. We were going the same. All of us are going for scholarship. So then they just sent me out. I was like, I'm done. So I have a visa, and the governor is going to deny it. He's not going to help me. So I was going outside praying. I was like, please God, touch this person to see that I really need to go. And so I was sent out. After a few minutes, I was called in, and the governor was like, I'm going to pay for it. Come tomorrow and just leave your name and everything, your passport number, everything. We'll pay for the ticket. And they did. The following day, I came to give me a ticket.
You're so lucky.
It was a blessing. So, and also, I went home. I have a ticket now. I went to prepare. So I have to like tell my mom it's time for me to go. And the 15,000, that's nikienda shopping. Njua sasa sijui, sinaenda shule. So I didn't know au nunui sabuni. Mimi nikaenda nikanunua baso.
Bucket. Seriously?
Yeah. I bought all that. And then in the process, so in the morning, naenda kama kesho, somebody from US mwenye alienda before me, tukakutana tu Facebook. Akaniandikia message, Prisca uko hapa siku hizi, mimi nimefika niko hapa hivi. Nikamuuliza sasa, alafu nikamwambia nakuja kesho. Atunakuja kesho hakikisha umekuja na jacket, so it was winter. Ukuja na jacket. Sasa sina pesa tena. Ameniambia ninunue jacket, ninunue longi. Mimi nimenunua just dresses. Ile tu vitu light nimeenda 15K, sio 15K.
Yeah.
Nanunua zile za 50 ngapi? Pesa zimeisha sababu nimenunua vitu yenye make sense. Vitu kama hiyo. Alafu sasa venye alimention akasema by the way usikuje na sabuni. So usikuja na sabuni.
Yeye anasema kama jokes.
Yeah, anasema kama jokes, ajui niko nayo. Usikuja na sabuni. I already have the soap. And I bought like ile expensive nani. Unajua ile ya 150 nimenunua kama box moja. So all the money is gone. And now I need to buy a jacket, so I didn't have to. I didn't nani asubuhi tunaenda. So I just nikabeba tu yongo kidogo yenye nilikuwa nimenunua. Nikaenda hivyo. Baridi yenye ilikuwa inanichapa nifika Atlanta. Yeah, so the following day, we boarded and we started our journey. So I ended up in America. On the 15th.
You know what, Prisca? I know there are some people, you had a dream and you went for that dream, right? There are some people who have like, I have this dream, right? But now they have that doubt that am I really going to achieve it? You had a dream. You really prayed for that dream and it came, like it happened.
Yeah, it happened.
What can you tell these people? Because I know there's many people, there are a lot of dreams outside there, there's a lot of visions, but now you find like maybe someone cannot achieve it because of the doubts.
The challenges and yeah, it's whenever you have a dream and you have a goal that you are focusing on, pesa haikuangi shida. So some people will say, oh, I don't have money, so that's why I didn't get this. So for me, I didn't have money, but I had the dream. So like if I had sat down and pitied myself and be like I don't have money and all that, governor angenilipia shule, angenilipia ticket. So I took a step.
The first thing, aungeenda to that camp because number one, you don't have 200,000,
yes,
right? But you went.
Yeah, I just went with just imani too.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a small if you believe on yourself and believe in something, it will open ways for you. They say, this, like if you've heard this person called Miles Monroe, he said, work on your talent and it will open doors for you. So I worked on my running and it opened all these doors. So yes, like I could, saa zingine naenda mpaka naona haki nimefika mwisho. Like this is it. I don't have otherwise. Hata hiyo 20 venye nilipata, I took it to my coach. Nikamwambia give it to somebody else. I'm very sure I will not get the money. And my coach was, I really like my coach, Coach Philip Mayo. He came to me and he was like, Prisca, come to my office. So I went to his office. He said, go home. I said, you want me to go home?
Why?
Why do you want me to go home? He said, you have the I-20, right? I said, yes. Did I ask you for the camp money? I said, no. Did I ask you for any money at all? No. And I'm grateful for it and I will pay. I'm trying to like see if he wants to like send me home because I didn't pay for the camp. But in his mind, he wasn't even talking about the money for the camp. He was trying to like put it in me that you can go home and something will happen at home. So he said, go home and ask for fundraising. We are not going to leave this school. It's very rare to get this school. Like it was a school that is very prominent. They were like, it's very rare to get this school. I want you to go home, ask for fundraising, and people will help you. That's what he put it in me. So when he did that, then I went home. That's when the process started until I ended up getting, to the governor and getting the money. So if I had stopped and be like, Aki nimefika mwisho.
It should like, I think you were with the right people. Yeah, because like if you were with like anyone can say you don't have to go.
No, I had people like that too. I had people that somebody aliniambia wewe utakimbia kwani wangapi wamekimbia kwanza kwanza ni wewe ndio wa kwanza. So unaambia mtu I got a scholarship hata nini? And I was big, nilikuwa mnene, so they would be like, "Atu umepata scholarship, na unene yote wewe ukimbia." Unadanganya. So I had people who discouraged me. I had even my church. I went to church and I was like, I need help. They were like, no, You know, with even the church itself, they didn't even take us. Yeah, unatuenjoy hatu unataka kwenda wapi? Mpaka wakaeka unaanza ukora. You know that time they had kids when you wanaomba pesa and then they do other stuff. So wewe umeanza ukora. Kwanza anasema wakale kwa poto msuko kwa meje kwa nyoka berbere. Berbere mwana kwene. So you know, you are here to just utabeli watu na uende na pesa zao. But my coach, just a few people, they say allow people to advise you, but you are the one to make the decision.
Yeah, sure.
So I didn't let anything to sway me from what I want. So I really wanted to, like, my goal is to go to school, to finish my college, and that's my goal. I'm not going to allow anything to come in between. Even there was a time, like, even my own sister was against it. Like, she went home and told my mom she's not even in the camp. If it wasn't that my mom was able to call the coach and be like, is my daughter really there? I would have been, you know, my mom alikuwa amekataa kuchukua mtoto wako na uende. You know?
Huko camp.
Yeah, huko camp. Yeah, you're doing it. They were like, oh, tunampata town every day. But they didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. Every day I was in town because I was applying schools.
Applying 100 schools every day.
They didn't know. So,
what, like, right now, when you meet these people, what do they say?
I've told them, mi wasifichi. Kama mwingine aliniambia getonge, mimi namwambia, you know, hivyo ati ile njina getonga. So, like, so that thing will get out of me, because if it stays, when I look at the person, I don't know how to pretend. Kama mtu amekukosea, alafu yani alikuwa against your dream and everything, and then you meet na anakuongelesha vizuri saizi, it doesn't make sense at all. Which means you didn't like me when I didn't have anything. Well, why should I associate with you right now?
Yeah.
So it's better to iron out that first. Then when then I know who is for me and who is against me. And you know, nobody should be naive and be like everybody wishes you for the best. No. You should never be naive. Somebody would be like, oh, I'm going to help you for real, but in real sense they are not. So it's better. Sometimes that's why they say make your own decisions, that you made it yourself. If you allow somebody else to make decisions for you, you will regret it. Because some people will just wanakupeleka tu kwa msituni na wanakuacha huko, and then they will be looking. They just watch you suffer. So I didn't allow that. Even until now, there are some things I just don't allow. If I see it's not right, I just stay away from it. Because when it comes to your life, I'm the one to control it. I'm the driver of it. If I will allow it to go, if I'm going astray, that's why most of my friends are older. If you see my friends that are like really close, that I ask questions and things like that, experienced people, they are like really experienced. They've been in this for maybe 20, 30 years. And that has kept me. Like ukiwa wale age mate, unajua unasema tuko wengi. You know tuko wengi haikusaidii.
And you know many people like your age mates. Sometimes they see like you're competing, but you're not.
You're not competing with anybody. It's a life, and you know you are working with time. Kama uta waste time, then in the few years to come, you will be suffering. So you need to work on stuff right now, and there's no other time than now. This is the best time.
Do it, and it's okay to fail.
It's okay to fail.
It is okay to fail.
And you can fail several times. I've failed, I've cried. I've cried several times. Then you unaona kabisa unafika mahali unalia, then you'll be like, you wash your face, gather yourself up, and continue. Unaanguka, you know, na unaamka. If I had to stop, I would have stopped when I had my daughter. Yeah. Because that was a failure, you know, they call it a failure at that time because umefika penye haikuwa inatakikana. But if you stop right there, that's where the problem starts.
You're not going to achieve.
No, you cannot. So take a step and get up.
Yes.
Dust yourself and get up. It's
it's life, you know.
It's life.
It's life.
The whole world will look at you differently, but you can do it.
Yes.
So I ended up in America.
Yeah.
So,
You're in Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta. That is the port of entry. Hapo sasa nikaulizwa maswali, kwa nini uko America? Nikadhani sasa nimefika embassy ya pili. Ndio hapo ndio wanarudisha watu.
Yes, yes.
So they asked us these questions. I stayed in one room for almost 2 hours. I missed my flight there. Nilidhani wananirudisha Kenya. Nikaanza kuomba sasa. Unajua ile yenye unaomba kabisa. Then unajua ile when you don't know something is really bad. So mi nilienda tu na bag yangu moja na nilikuwa nimeweka all my documents kwa ile check-in bag. Even my passport. Everything ilikuwa kwa check-in bag. So tumefika port of entry, bring your I-20 and your passport. I don't have it. Kwa sababu my destination is Nashville, Tennessee. All my documents are in Tennessee. I'm in Atlanta. They need the documents. So I had to stay in that place until the following day. They had to call the school and confirm that really I'm going to that school. So when they called the coach was like, yeah, I'm waiting, I'm here in Nashville. Yeah, we are really expecting this student. So when they did that, that's when they allowed me to go. They booked another ticket for me. Without documents. Hiyo ilikuwa Mungu. Kama nikakosa hiyo unarudi. So they allowed me to go. Nikaenda kukutana na bag yangu huko mbele, and then I went to school. So nikakutana na coach ameandika jina yangu kwa kabani hivi, because I don't know the person. You're talking with somebody you've never met. Actually,
it's not like nowadays you can video call someone.
Na ilikuwa possible, but I don't know. Because Facebook was there.
Yeah, sure.
But I didn't. So I met with the coach. I went to school. I went to that school in spring. We had the first week. We did the application. You register for classes. You register for classes. It's winter. Mimi ukumbuka nilienda na dress tu. Yani ati wale watu ni wakarimu. Like different people are giving me sweater, mwingine viatu, boots, nini. And then I had all the things that I needed. I didn't know what snow is. Niliamka asubuhi vitu zinaanguka, mimi nikatoroka nikarudi kwa dorm, niko na vitu zinaanguka. Then in hailstorm. Unaamka asubuhi everyone white. So but I stayed in that school for just one semester. Because the first week we did the registration, the second week we had competition. What I had told my coach, I was running 207 in 800. Hey, kwenda kukimbia 240. Ndio kukimbia 240 ni hiyo umetamba, yani umekimbia pole hata umpea kuku ushiki. Yani
what was the challenge?
I couldn't run. I couldn't run. Unajua hii vitu yote yenye nimefanya Kenya, I was doing it myself. So ile training, ile ya kufanya kabisa, unaenda training morning, alafu ya saa 4 na saa 10. Mimi nilikuwa naenda moja tu kwa siku. Ile ya kukimbia kuanzia huko mpaka town. Hivyo tu. I didn't do speed walk, I didn't do, yani mimi nilikuwa tu. So kufika shule, I have to run 800. Kukimbia 800 mimi nilitamba bana. Coach alikasirika. Akanipea release letter. So release letter is a problem. That's a problem. Huyo shule imekukata. You need to look for another school. That was a big challenge. So mpaka akakataa kabisa kunitrain. Nikapewa coach wa short distance train. Huyo coach yani at that time nilikuwa naona anateswa sana. Alinipigisha. Nilikuwa nakimbia mpaka nikakuja shape tu. Nikakimbia 458 seconds. Venye nikimbia na 58 seconds akafly. Amenipea release. Kaniambia now we can renegotiate Rude ndio urudi. Nikamwambia hapana. So already alikuwa ni recommend to another school. So nimeanza process na ile shule nyingine, nimesign na wao because there is something you have to sign so that inaitwa letter of there's a letter you have to sign so that you will not work with another coach. Kama umekimbia na huyo coach ni hivyo. Umeenda na hiyo shule. So I signed that, and then tukafunga summer. over the summer sasa ilikuwa problem. Mimi sijui mtu yeyote huko. Sasa when I closed school, I was going to one church. I'm a Seventh-day Adventist student. I went to one church and I had talked to different people. So when the summer came, one of the ladies in the church emailed me because I didn't have a phone. I was just using email. She emailed me and she said, where are you? You know, it's summer, you know, where did you go for the summer? I said, I'm in school and this school has given me release letter. You know, they didn't even know what the release letter is because for them, you know, they don't deal with scholarships and things like that. So what is that? I say, I lost scholarship in this school, I need to look for another school. And over the summer, like my coach, my current coach will not even help me even a little bit. I don't have a place to stay. And the more I stay in the dorms, I need to pay. It was like 110 per week. So she said, let me talk with my husband, then I'll get back to you. The following day they came to school and they took me to stay with them in their house.
Wow.
Yeah, so until now.
Just a stranger.
Just a stranger. It was a blessing. Yeah. So they came in, until now they're like my parents. Like they've taken good care of me. So when I got to the family, they asked me, you know, ile English hata unajua wanaongea zingine zinakupita. So when they say something, I couldn't even understand what they are talking about. So I stayed the whole summer. Over the summer, because I was staying in this house, they didn't have like a lot of things to do. They created jobs for me, like 3 families. So moja saa zingine kama kuna watoto nitekana na wachunge, I took care of the kids. They pay me. Someone wanted something to be done in the computer, maybe zile za taxes, you put them together. I do that, they pay me. So like that, they created like a job opportunity for me in this, you know, the families around me. So the money that I got, I was able to pay there was registration fee. I think it was $200 for the school that I'm going next, and the books that I needed, and you know, small stuffs that I needed for that school, you know, vitu kama masweta nini. So I used it for that. Then after summer ndo nikaenda hiyo shule. The other school, the school was Kasonuma University, and I stayed for my 4 years. So when I was staying with this family, when I applied, I had applied for pre-med. I wanted to like go to medical school. But when I met this family, they were like, so they advised me, they were like, okay, you can go to pre-med and do biology. When you graduate, you need to go to medical school. Are you able to pay for it? I said, no. Is there a way like your family back at home will pay for it? I said, no. They're saying, then you need to rethink for the course. This course will not help you when you graduate. So, because in medical school, you cannot get scholarship. You need to pay out of pocket. So, will you get the money? No. So, they were like, going to medical school, it doesn't have to be like only biology. You can do English and go to medical school. You can do chemistry and still go to medical, as long as you get a degree, for a 4-year degree. So they say, we recommend for you to do nursing or ufanye something that respiratory therapy or physiotherapy, something like that. Something that when you get out of school, you will get a job. And I'm really grateful about it. Kama they had not told me about that, I would have not gone to do like my bachelor's in nursing. So I changed my major from pre-med to nursing. So I did my 4 years, and then I graduated in 2019 with bachelor's degree in nursing. So I got my BSM. On the course of the 4 years, you know, the school was paying for me to run for them so that they can pay for my school. And back at home, remember, I'm still the breadwinner. So
mtoto wako hapa.
Mtoto wako hapa. Na niko na wanafunzi, my siblings wako high school. So
you know home wanasema ako
ng'ambo.
Ako na pesa.
So for the first, when I was in Tennessee Tech, walikuwa wanatupia ile $20 per day or 40 saa zingine kama mmeenda meet ile competition. So I used that money, nilikuwa natuma na MoneyGram nyumbani ama Western Union, ndio watoe wapeleke shule or mom use it at home. I did that for the whole time. But when the summer came, ile kazi yenye nilitengenezewa pale nikaanza kutuma pia. So it helped a little. When I went to the other school, nikafanya kazi tatu. I was working as a janitor. So like janitor is most of a cleaner. You know?
Nice name, you know.
Yeah. When you tell somebody janitor, I say, hey, hiyo ni kazi mzuri, lakini ukimwambia you are cleaning. Well, you are a cleaner. So I had to do that. Nilikuwa naamka saa 9 asubuhi. Amuka saa 9, and then I work from 3 to 8, and then from 8 I go to class until 3, and then after that I go for training from 3:30 until 6. Then when I come back at 6, I go eat, change, and I go for another job that I was working as a receptionist in my dorm. I worked from 7 to midnight. So like I was sleeping, I think 2 hours or 3. Sometimes I couldn't sleep because if I have an exam tomorrow and I've been working as a receptionist, even if you are able to like study a little bit, but watu wanapita so ile concentration hakuna. Somebody will be like, oh Prisca, you know, how was it, you know, vitu kama hizo zina distort your mind. So when the day ends, clock out, unafikiria exam ya kesho, inabidi you study. Then it's time to wake up at 3 again, go back to So I worked for my 4 years. I worked like that. Then I was working. There was a time I became a residential assistant. I don't know what do you call, like I was like in the executive of students, like I was one of the leaders. But wanaita mother dom or dom mother, yeah, you are the one in control. If they need something in that dome, you are the one to be called, and you know, you are the one to help the students navigate and orient themselves. So I did that too. So I was working janitor in the reception, and I was a residential assistant. So residential assistant helped a little but it cost me again. I did that for 1 semester. They were giving me housing for free, and they were giving me, I think, $100 in a month or something. So it cost me. So when I stopped, my coach was like, I'm not going to pay for that money because I had already taken out of your scholarship because you had gotten that. So now you need to pay it out of pocket. So I didn't have money again to pay. So I had to do like payment plan. So nilikuwa nalipa $25 per month. And you know the amount I need is it was almost $4,000, even $400,000. So imagine
25 per month.
25, you know, 2,000. I live here a quarter yenye umenini. So then in the course of all this, in the 4 years, my mom was not, you know, I told you alikuwa anaanza kwa mgonjwa. So we had to go to the hospital most of the time. So I had to like use this little money to take her to the hospital and things like that. And it wasn't easy because sometimes in the hospital the amount they need is almost 40,000 or 50. I don't have the money. So excuse me. So I had to like you know, try all I could to use this little I have to help my siblings, my daughter, and my mom, because she wasn't able to do stuff. So then after that, when I graduated in 2019, I invited my mom to come for my graduation together with my daughter. They were supposed to come on 3rd in the embassy. Waliambiwa waende tarehe 19 ya mwezi wa 5 na wanatakana wakuje tarehe 3. So my mom lost hope. She was like, I think this one I will not make it or something. I think she was depressed or something. She tried to commit suicide. So she did drink hii inaitwaje dip mpaka akajipata sasa karibu akufe. So she ended up in ICU, and I'm graduating. I had tried to ask for expedite. They gave her to go to the embassy on 29. They allowed her to go on 29, but she did drink sumo 27. So 29 is the day she needs to be in the embassy, but I go ICU. So she didn't go. So now I need to graduate. I have all this pressure. Napigiwa simu nyumbani. Another thing, I don't know what's the problem in Kenya. They cannot take care of the mgonjwa kwanza. They need money first.
Yeah.
No wasaidie mtu mwenye ako hali mahututi. So when they called me, because I was preparing for graduation, I have a lot of tests that I need to finish the projects that I have for my classes. So all my clinicals were like ile imewekwa almost in the same week. Lazima nifanye hizo. So mimi nilikuwa nimezima simu yangu hata sina shughuli nayo. So this evening nimetoka nimemalizana na siku kukuja, I see a lot of calls from different people, even my cousins that they've never even called me before. They're like, your mom is in the hospital. What? I say, in the hospital? I'm expecting her to be in Nairobi. Like, why is she in the hospital? So she tried to commit suicide. Say, oh, you know,
why?
Yeah.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, it's a surprise because like we've come from far.
Yeah.
Like we've gone through all these challenges, and then at the end, why? You know, why should you do something like that? But you know, you never know. She had Parkinson's disease. It affects your mind. So I think she was too depressed, and she was like, maybe I'm not going to America no more, and she gave up. So I paid for it. I graduated on 3rd. Nobody came because I was expecting my daughter and my mom to come. So I was just alone with that family that hosted me over the summer. I graduated. I applied. In the process, when I was almost graduating, I looked online for agencies that help international students to get jobs as a nurse so that they can file your green card. So I applied. I found one called Connexus. So I applied with them. I sent an email. They responded. It was 3 in the morning when I was working as a janitor. I sent an email, and the director of this agency is in UK. So it was day to them. They said, send me an email really fast. They sent me the application form. I filled it out, and they were like, you qualify. So I signed it. And when I was graduating, I had already signed for a job. So yes,
That was so good.
yeah, it was a blessing because I thought maybe I would just work for 1 year and come home Kenya because you know they just give you the OPT for 1 year. If you're not going back to school, you have to come home because your eligibility will be done. So when I signed with them, I graduated. I stayed with that family that I was staying with. There's a test called NCLEX. I did the NCLEX. And remember, I'm still being called at home. I had all this pressure back at home. My mom is in the hospital, but I have to pass this exam because if I don't pass this exam, and I have to pay for it. So I studied for 3 weeks. I passed the exam and I became the registered nurse in America now. So that's when they started, and it was in May. I studied. I didn't do anything the whole of May, so I started studying in June, and then I did my exam June 29th, I think. And then the results came back on the 10th, and I passed. So I passed the test, and now I'm registered nurse. I sent the information to the agency, and they found me a job in West Virginia, and that's where I went.
Wow.
So I went to West Virginia. I started there, but I did my I worked in a psych ward. So I didn't have any. So niliwork na wale wenda wazimu. So it wasn't easy. Unakutana watu wanapigana. So I worked there for 1 year. Then I changed. I did my med surg in another hospital next day. I worked 2 jobs this year, wenda wazimu and med surg. So I worked the 2. Then that is 2019, 2020. 2021, that's when my contract ended, and they had already filed my papers, so I have my work permit, and I've done my contract with them, so I'm waiting just for my green card. So I'm not able to come home because unakuja na work permit wapi sasa. So I had the hiyo yenye wanasemanga advance parole, you can use it, but unajua ile fear watu wanakuambia wewe unaweza enda bana ufungiwe Kenya. Unaanza kufikiria mashine yenye uko nazo, acha nivumilie tu. So I stayed 2019. My mom was released I think 2019 July. That's when I took hospitali, but she didn't come back to her health anymore. Akakuwa sasa health yake ka deteriorate, like really nikaanza kuwa tu si sawa, anakuwa mgonjwa most of the time. 2021, that's when I got my green card. I had given up on the green card. Nikasema wacha nitumie ile advance parole. If nikibaki Kenya, I can, in my mind, I thought, nikibaki Kenya, naweza tafuta kazi tu Kenya. I really want to go home. So, nikakuja nyumbani tarehe 12 ya July. Kufika hapa, 12, nikafika 13. 14, my green card came out. So I got the email that your green card has been approved. Na nika Kenya. So nikafurahi sasa. So I stayed with my mom the whole of mwezi wa 7. Alafu nikatoka nikarudi sasa US mwezi wa 8. Then I started traveling. I didn't do permanent job anymore. Nikaanza travel nurse. So you go from one hospital to another, and they pay you a little bit better. Wakati wa COVID, they paid us like really good. So I did that. I traveled in Florida. Then when I finished, I went to Texas, and I traveled in different cities in Texas. So I went to Odessa. I left Odessa. I went to El Paso. I came to Houston. Then after that, that was in Houston. Was from December until February 19. My mom passed on 19.
So sorry for that.
Yeah, she did on 19, and I had to come home. I was here in February, March, and April.
This is this year?
This year. Yeah, my mom passed on this year, 2022. And now it's another challenge again because I don't have a parent anymore. So it's becoming different because you have to deal with your siblings, and it's not
yourself,
easy. Yeah.
Your kid.
Yes.
Yeah, and other responsibilities.
And other responsibilities.
You're becoming now a parent.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So it's a big challenge because even my daughter right now is staying with a friend of mine. My siblings, everybody has their own priorities to do. So it's not easy. Trying to bring everybody together, it has been quite a challenge. But I thank God, my host parents said, thank God you are in a position to help.
Yes.
Sometimes you can see things and be like,
I wish I could help.
Yes. But at least you are in a position to help. Just thank God for that, because there are some people that really need to help somebody but they can't.
Yeah.
But one thing that I know, I think I've built myself, never quit.
Yeah.
I try not to quit, even if it's hard or things like that. I just build it to, when I look back sometimes I'm like, how did I do that? But if you tell me right now, how did you just go to work 3 jobs and you sleep 2 hours? Like, when I think about it right now, if you tell me to do it, I will not do it.
You knew you had no option.
Yeah, I didn't have an option. But I think, sometimes when you have a goal, and I keep on saying that, when you have a goal and you know what you're doing, it makes it easier. You don't see the hardship of it. But if I didn't have something that I'm working on in it that is pushing me, I would have not worked on it.
Yeah.
Because I've been in school. When I was in school, I was able to, in this process my mom moving from one place to another, shamba ikaenda mpaka ikafika mahali sasa inakuwa ndogo. So they sold a piece of land, they bought one, and you know, there was one time they sold it when I had gone. And when they sold it, they bought it on mtu mwenye sijui ilikuwa conman or something. So the money just went like that. So now they're homeless. I'm in America, and so I had to use that money that I got to buy a piece of land and build a home for my mom and my siblings. That's when we moved back towards Kaptinga Simat area, yes. So and that's where we are until now.
Wow.
So yeah,
it's been a journey.
It is.
Now, I think before we end this interview, there are some people who wants to go for nursing. Yeah, they wanted to really do what you're doing.
Yes.
I know there are many people who wants to go to US. Yeah, what can you tell them?
If you're already a nurse, right now, the agencies, there's one called Avant. I saw they had like an interview. I saw one that they had an interview in Nairobi. Avant really takes nurses from Kenya, and they can apply for your green card. And they do it for the family too. They can take your husband and your wife and your kids, and they give you the green card. So I see if you're already a nurse, you can apply through that. If you're not a nurse already and you want to study nursing when you get to America, it's better. If you have a talent somewhere, if you can run. And C+ and above is the requirement. And you go to a camp, you apply for a scholarship, and then you go to a school and do the nursing. Nursing to me is one of the avenues that can give you, it can open doors for you. Because when you do nursing, you can get a green card, because it's not just America that will give you green card, or even Canada does that too. And I've seen, I think Australia is doing the same thing. So it's better if you are a nurse already and you want to go abroad. I recommend for you to do BSN. If you can do bachelor's instead of diploma, it will be a plus for you. It will be a really plus for you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time. It is possible.
It is.
It is possible.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. The code of Prisca. We'll do it for you.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. This is Nick Show, and it was all about your story. So it was Prisca'S Story today. Thank you so much. See you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prisca.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anytime.